Who then is going to be the player of the tournament for the Six Nations 2023? I have 5 contenders that I'm going to put forward. I want to know yours as well in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, if I haven't already, this is going to be the video where I earn your subscription as well. So thank you very much for subscribing. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. And yeah, with only a week to go, who could be the face of this year's tournament in the way that it was Hamish Watson last year and Antoine Dupont before? 5 contenders, like I say. And I'm not going to pick Antoine Dupont. He's the best player in the world. He's the captain of the favourites for the tournament. So I thought it'd be too easy to pick Antoine Dupont. So I've picked 5 others, starting with Ireland, the other favourites for the tournament, Gary Ringrose. And you kind of feel Ireland are becoming more and more reliant on Gary Ringrose. He's every year keeps getting better and better, and he is playing out of his skin this season for club and country. He's 28 now, so he's coming into a prime age, and his influence on games is getting all the more significant. And do you remember Brian O'Driscoll, the way he was not just a brilliant attacking rugby player, he could have been probably could have been a world-class open side flanker. He was really good at the breakdown. Gary Ringrose is fantastic defensively, and 13 is probably the hardest position on the field to defend. And Gary Ringrose is rock solid. And with great teams like France who are going to try and exploit those wide channels, having a guy like him as almost like your defensive captain in that sense is brilliant. But what he can do with the ball is equally devastating, as he has been showing. And without Robbie Henshaw, this tournament, Gary Ringrose's importance in that midfield for Ireland is massive. And it's mad to think, isn't it, that I kind of go, I think Gary Ringrose might be Ireland's most important player when they're putting all their fly half eggs in Johnny Sexton's basket. But Gary Ringrose just has this knack of, it's because he's such an intelligent rugby player. He just appears in the right place at the right time, like great players do, like Antoine Dupont does. He just has that knack. And here he can even find some space in heavy traffic. And he's been great for a while, but he's taken it to another level. And here for Leinster, I love this line that he cuts. Just there for the little offload over the top. He's a class act. So Gary Ringrose, my first contender for Player of the Tournament 2023. What do you think of that one? Let me know. Or just enjoy this last try of his. Go on then. And oh yeah, this is against Connacht. See ya. Love him. Right. Charles Ollivon of France. If you're going to pick a French back row player to maybe be player of the tournament, the obvious choice would have been Gregory Aldrit, because he's sort of stepped up. But part of the reason he stepped up and become a focal point in France's back row is partly because Charles Ollivon has been injured he was injured for quite a chunk of time. He is back and looking outstanding, and this guy is some specimen. Again, like Gary Ringrose, coming into a prime age. He's 29. He's not had as many caps as maybe he would have done had he not had those injuries. I think is he approaching 50 caps? Something like that. The support lines that he runs, the athleticism of this guy, 6'7", 18 stone, rapid, and also, just have a look at him, one of the most handsome men on planet Earth, let alone rugby players. And again, just like Gary Ringrose, Charles Ollivon just has this great rugby brain that means when he's running support lines, he pops up in the right spot at the right time and has the athleticism to make it count. And part of the reason he can appear in the right place at the right time is because he has an engine that goes on for days, and he's also rapid. He's got wheels. He's a proper modern day back row. A line out option for France as well, which is really important. He'll steal a bunch of line outs. He can do the dog work up front, but he's at his best when gaps open up and he can let rip in the open field, which he does regularly. He has done for Toulon and has done for France. And I expect him to have a big Six Nations tournament, put himself back on the map at one of the best back rows in the world. And he could be one of the faces of 2023 in rugby when you think that he could have a great Six Nations tournament and a World Cup coming up later this year. Love Charles Ollivon. Ellis Genge. Is this just my bias as an Englishman coming out here, picking an English player as a potential player of the tournament 2023? Maybe. Is it unfounded optimism? Maybe. Also, probably the biggest reason why it won't be Ellis Genge is because in the 22 years that they've given out a Player of the Tournament award, no front row player has ever won it. Great fact, that, isn't it? And lots of second rows have won it in the front five. No front row. Could Ellis Genge be the first one? Perhaps. If England do have a resurgence under Steve Borthwick, expect this man to feature even more prominently than he did under Eddie Jones. We've seen that combination work brilliantly, Borthwick and Ellis Genge. He was his captain at Leicester Tigers. Leicester created so many opportunities in the way they attacked to get Ellis Genge with his hands on the ball, and I fully expect Steve Borthwick is going to do the same. And it's running with the ball where Ellis Genge is, frankly, terrifying. I'm kind of curious in a sadistic way. Wouldn't you love to know what it feels like to try and tackle Ellis Genge? I mean, I'd want to be wrapped up in bubble wrap before I did it. He is violent and intimidating. He's a scary, scary man. And also, he doesn't appear to be as big as some international props. Like, he looks a bit smaller than Tyg Byrne and Tyg Furlong, and Weenie Antonio. And he is, but he's still massive. He's 120 kgs, just short of 19 stone, and he can run. Yeah, well, he's like the big kid in mini rugby. He's quite happy to just run at the player and run over them rather than run into space. And you love him. And you feel if England do have a resurgence, he's got a massive role to play. So one of my contenders there. Back to Ireland. Second one from Ireland, Caelen Doris. The youngest of the 5 that I've got on my list. 24 years of age, Leinster back row. And he was he player of the tournament in the Autumn Nations Series? Regardless, he played brilliantly in the autumn for Ireland, and he's made the number 8 shirt his own, which is no mean feat. He's spent his first few years in the Ireland team battling with other people, Max Deegan and Jack Conan, and he have been battling at Leinster and for Ireland for that number 8 jersey. He's made it his own now, 100%. He missed the Six Nations in 2021 due to a concussion that dashed any chance he had of going with the Lions. He's back. And he is brilliant. And the comparison I would make with Caelen Doris is Kieran Reid. And I think he could be regarded as that good. Because Kieran Reid played with his head up and quite often the ball in 2 hands. And Caelen Doris does that. He is a modern day back row player. He's got all the skills. Space is so tight in international rugby that you need someone who reads a game brilliantly, which all the players I've mentioned on this list so far do. And there you go. Just pick a line. Great at offloads. And offloads are so devastating. Caelen Doris is a classy number 8. 6'4", about 16.5, 17 stone. Real athlete. Goes on for days. And Ireland are all about work rate and all about defence. When they need a little something extra, the 2 people I've mentioned, Gary Ringrose and Caelen Doris, they're the guys that can make the difference for Ireland. Final one, Dan Biggar. Love Dan Biggar. I may just be picking players I love, and I do love him. I've had the pleasure and privilege of working with Dan Biggar a bunch of times for BT Sport, and as much as you see him on the telly and he makes a joke of it himself, chops in at referees and the back chat and everything, he is genuinely one of the nicest human beings you will meet. He is also, and this is where the back chat to the ref comes in, the most competitive rugby player on any pitch at any time. And his teammates love him for it. He is tenacious. He's brave. And he's got a box of tricks. And again, just like I talked about Borthwick and Genge being a great combination, Gatland and Biggar, doesn't that just feel right? Dan Biggar is going to be Warren Gatland's main man. He's not going to mess around in his own half of the pitch. He's going to get Wales into the right areas. And then when they have an opportunity with people like Lewis Rees-Sammet and Josh Adams and Liam Williams, Dan Biggar is a guy that can unlock those defences. And people think about him just as being a tactical kicking 10. No. Much more than that. And look at that offload. That's just ridiculous skill and awareness. So he's the all-round package. And you need someone, and Six Nations games are notoriously tight. You need someone to have the guts to win a game with a kick or make a big play. Dan Biggar is your man. Amazing under the high ball. Brilliant in the air, brave, and skills. Look at him here. He'll take the space. He'll set people going. And there's just one final clip that just sums up everything Dan Biggar is about. That too. Yeah, he'll win you games with his kicks because he's just full of guts. And the guts comes through in this tackle. You want someone that is going to fight for your team and make the difference. Look at that. Love Dan Biggar. potential player of the tournament 2023. What do you think? What do you think of my list of 5? What players should have been on it? What would be on yours? Leave your comments. Hit subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video. Six Nations is only 1 week away now.